Well, before we do all that, let's go ahead and introduce everybody. First off, who we are, where they can find us, and what we got going on before we go ahead and let our guest in. He just messaged me right now saying he's in the waiting room. So let's go ahead and let's just introduce this guest in our show, shall we?
Okay.
All right. So you're listening to P&T Show. If you are curious of where you can find us, follow us, keep up with the greatest things. On Twitter, you can find us at official underscore PT show. Instagram, official PT show. And we also are on Apple Podcasts at Ponte and Topete Show. Woo, that was a mouthful. But today we got Sam Shienbaum coming on all the way from Michigan. Top 15 long snapper in the nation, committed to Army, Black Knights. Yes, I said it. Army, West Point. Unbelievable. I'm very excited to get to know a little bit about long snapping. I don't know much about that. Do you know anything about long snapping, Alex?
Um, I just know that when I first started playing football, my stepdad tried to get me to master it, and because I was a center, I always played offensive line, and I couldn't get the hang of it. It was too foreign of an art to me, you know.
When you played football, what position were you?
I played a couple positions, mainly just defensive line and offensive line throughout my adolescence.
Okay. Super cool.
Yeah.
Slowly approaching the
Yes. So
appearance
Sam
of
is
Sam Shienbaum, all the way from Michigan.
audio
Great.
is
This should be fun.
connecting.
I'm hyped. Well, I'm hyped.
So I was gonna say one
Man, I
thing
literally just
about
lost my train of thoughts right now. I just
one thing
ran out the door.
one thing I will say about long snapping is that I feel like the successful long snappers, they figure out a way to throw. It's not like it's not like snapping a regular shotgun snap. It's like throwing the ball. Whereas like I remember I had this problem where I was just trying to snap it and I kept snapping it straight up in the air. And it always like
Same.
falls back down around where I was instead of where it was supposed to go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously as a kid, I would just pretend to snap the ball, thinking I was the greatest long snapper in the school.
Were
And
you at
then I
least were
remember,
you good at it though?
no, but you want to know something funny though? So, uh, first time I played football, because my parents, I mean, I didn't really get to play tackle football much unless it was with my cousins. So the first time I got to actually participate in football, it was for YMCA flag football. And the position they put me at was center. So I was always open because, like, in flag football, any position is not open. So the whole
Right.
time I was just running, and I was like, "Hey, I'm open." I only got one touchdown.
Hey, one touchdown's one touchdown. Looks like we have Sam on the show. Sam, can
How
you
are you
hear
guys?
us? Good. How are
Yeah,
you?
how are you guys? Good,
Awesome.
good.
So
Awesome.
Sam, welcome, brother. Welcome to the P&T show. I'm glad to.
Glad to be here.
I was seeing him face to face. The only thing I know about Sam is from stories that either your cousins Ruby or Rocco tell me, or Bruce. That's literally that's all I know from you. So like, and then I did my research. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, this is cool. This is gonna be fun.
For sure.
But let's go ahead and get started, man. So, top 15 in the nation among long snappers. Okay, first off, how do you become nationally ranked for long snapping? Like, how is that a thing?
Well, there's this guy named Brandon Cornblue, and he's nationally known, and he travels all around the country, and he's very well known and from the NFL, from college. He's primarily just long snapping and kicking. So he takes care of the specialists. And I got the opportunity to, like through film, through Twitter, he found me and I guess saw that I had talent. So he invited me to a snapping camp. And that was my first camp in Canton, Ohio at the NFL Hall of Fame.
Ooh.
And so that was my first camp. He ranks all the snappers who go to his camps, and he ranks them from how he thinks.
That's cool. Is that how Army was able to find you?
Yes. Army called Brandon Kornblue, and Brandon Kornblue gave the coaches my name, and they gave me a call.
How excited were you when you got that call from Army? Because I mean, that's not like an ordinary call. That's just like once in a lifetime type of phone call.
Yeah. Funny story. I was actually on the way back from another visit, another college in Michigan that I had got offered by that day.
Oh wow!
And on that visit, Brandon texted me and asked me if I was interested in West Point Army, and I said, "Why not? Like, sure, yeah." I wasn't like too familiar with Army at the time though, and on the way back, I got a call from New York, and I couldn't answer it because I was driving. So I called the coach back when I got home, and the first thing he said to me was, "Wow, you can really snap the hell out of that ball." So I mean, straight from there, I mean, it was such a great first impression, and it led to the other things.
So what made you go in the decision of long snapping? You know, what made you decide to stick to it when you first started playing?
My sophomore year, I was on JV, and our snapper was not super good. And I mean, just me being an athletic guy, I thought, why not? Let me try it. And so I snapped the ball once in practice, and the coach called me the snapper. So from there on out, I was the snapper. And I guess, I don't know, like my mentality is like, I don't like want to just like suck at something. Like I want to have more knowledge. So, I mean, I just started watching videos and learning more about it, and I became very good at it. And then my junior year, I mean, my coaches just told me like, wow, like we're seeing this before. You could really go to college for long snapping. And then, I mean, from there on out, I just started training and getting better.
You were tight end before. Was that your first position, and then you switched over to long snapping? Or did you
My
play two?
sophomore year, yeah. So I played tight end and long snapper my senior year. Uh, Before that, I played like offense, defense, wide receiver, linebacker. But my senior year, I played long snapper and tight end.
Nice, nice.
So
Hey,
you played baseball in high school as well. I can see the baseball bats behind you actually.
Yeah.
Was there, because I'm sure that everything that's gone on affected both you know, how your recruiting went and your baseball season. Um, is there anything you can look back to that you can reflect on and say, I'm really gonna miss this about playing baseball, or do you have plans of maybe playing for Army?
I mean, I would love to play for Army, but yeah, I mean, I definitely look back at the baseball season, just thinking about last year and having that camaraderie with all the guys, and just being around that great environment out in the sun playing baseball. Like I miss it a lot for sure.
that's good. Wow. Have you visited Army after you got your scholarship? Did you ever go and do your visit?
Yeah. So I visited. Uh, I forget what month, but it was probably like 2 or 3 weeks right after they called me, and so they hadn't offered me at that time. And I stepped on campus, and we took a whole tour with the football coaches, and there was a bunch of other recruits there too, um, who are also uncommitted, but I'm pretty sure they had offers at the time. Um, so at the end of the visit, I met with the head coach, and he asked me, um, well, actually, no, what am I saying? They offered me, yeah, the coach came to my house.
Yeah.
One of the coaches came to my house a couple days after they called me, and they offered me. And they said, we'd love to get you on campus. And then so we went to campus, and we toured it, and I fell in love with it. And I mean, from there on out, like I have no regrets. But I committed the 2 days after I visited. The morning after.
And right then and there, you're just blown away.
Yeah, I mean it was breathtaking. The views, that just being on such a historical monument, pretty much. It was just it was surreal.
Is something about being a long snapper? Do you have to have that bond with the punter so that you know how the punter likes his ball snap per se? I don't know if that's a thing. It's just one of the
Yeah, for sure.
like that.
I definitely in high school, my punter, my junior year punter, is one of my best friends.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So I mean, we had that thing.
Yeah.
And then senior year, it was a new punter, but I mean, I knew I had to do my job, and I had to bring him close to me and see what he likes and what I like. So yeah, there's definitely a bond between punter and snapper. It's definitely useful to have one.
How long
So
have you been playing football? Oh, go ahead, Alex.
I was just gonna say there's kind of like this age-old debate between, you know how sometimes on a botched field goal snap, they say if the laces are facing the kicker, people debate on whether it's the snapper's fault or it's the holder's fault. Are you able to control when you snap the ball, how it ends up in the hands? Because I always felt like it's kind of unfair to judge the snapper based on how the snap is received.
Yeah, for sure. I do know how to. I can vary where my laces go.
Wow.
I mean, this is how I do it. For regular punts, I hold the ball like I'm throwing it. I put my hands on the laces. For field goals, I don't. I rotate it 180 degrees. So my top hand is on the laces, so I'm not grabbing the laces like I'm throwing them. That the laces will end up facing.
Yeah. Wow. Holy cow. Dang.
Yeah.
You really
So,
must have been practicing that a lot, huh?
yeah, I mean, for sure. You want to get used to it. You wanna see where you can snap it, how you can snap it, how fast you can snap it. There's a lot of variations.
It's down to an exact science. You have it down to an exact science. You hear a lot of specialists and field goal specialists say everything has to be precise. Do you have aspirations to play in the NFL one day and maybe make it as a long snapper there?
That would be amazing. I mean, whose dream isn't to go play in the NFL as a little kid? Just growing up playing football, I mean, that would be amazing. I never thought I would be a long snapper, but it's an amazing job. That would be amazing.
That's dope. Who's a football athlete that you try to embody your game in, after? Who's someone that you look up to and saying, "Oh, I like how this guy works. I want to do some of the similar stuff that he does."
There's this long snapper who he snaps for the Colts. His name's Rhodes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a very, very talented snapper, and his work ethic is outstanding. There's also another guy. His name is Matt Dooley. He snapped for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was at one of the Brandon Cornblue camps that I attended, and he really, really helped me there.
Wow,
and,
that's cool.
So I got to know him a lot, and he lives in Indiana. So he told me whenever you want to do virtual lessons, I would be more than happy to. So I mean,
look at you.
Him and Lucas Rhodes, for sure. Those are the two guys who I look up to.
Look at you with the Steeler in your corner ready to help you out.
Steeler, go Steelers.
Black and go, baby.
Jordan's always got to bring up the Steelers.
Hey, I got a little hype. Well, I got a little hype. Can't help it. Steel Nation, man. Steel Nation. But I know you're a Steelers fan, huh?
I'm an Eagles fan.
Ooh.
Oh, that's really.
My dad.
So I'm guessing.
my mom, Pittsburgh.
Okay, I can see that.
So I'm guessing you're gonna try to catch the Eagles Steelers game when it happens
Heck
in Philly.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause, yeah, I figured. Wait. So since you're an Eagle fan, you ever think Jalen Hurts is ever gonna get that starting position?
I mean, you never know. Like I
Hey, you
said, I
never.
mean, work ethic. He has that dog mentality. I mean, he's a great kid. And if they can't put him at QB, they'll find some way to get him on the field.
There we go. Yeah, literally, that's pretty much. It's literally what he is. So how long have you been playing football still, Joe? Like, when did you start?
Uh, I started playing tackle football in ninth grade. But, I mean, I've been playing flag football my whole life. It's just me having my parents, they were always scared of me playing tackle football because they didn't want me to get hurt. And two of my coaches my basketball coaches who coach football for the high school freshmen, they convinced my parents to let me play.
Wow, that's nice. Is I was about to ask, because I know over here in Cali, like the weather, it's so calm. Like even as a snapper, like you can't really lose grip of the ball. I'm pretty sure the weather in Michigan is below freezing sometimes, and like you tend to like lose grip of the ball. Have you ever experienced like I'm trying to figure out like what's a perfect question to like lay this out. Have you ever played in the West Coast at all, like during like training or anything? Like experienced the different weather conditions?
I've not played in the West Coast, but Michigan weather is tough. One day it can be 70 and sunny, the next day it'll be 34 and freezing. So the beginning of our seasons, we were playing in 80 degrees, like super hot weather for us. So I've snapped in games where it's just the sun's just beating on us and my hands are sweating. And I've also played games in the snow, literally.
You
So
said
I mean,
So for those
the rain,
games,
it's crazy.
so for those games where it's bad weather, do you wear gloves, or are you someone who's strictly no anything on the hands when you snap?
Yeah, I don't wear gloves. I like to feel out the ball, feel like I like know once you rip the ball, you can snap. I just like feeling leather.
sick, man. How far away from Detroit are you? Because okay, I learned it when I was looking up where exactly like you're from. It took me to two locations. The first one is Beverly Hills, Michigan. Is that it?
Uh, Close. What was
Okay.
your other one? Franklin?
I think the other one, yeah, it was that
Yeah,
one.
so I live in Franklin. Beverly Hills is like 5 minutes away though. Franklin is that's where Bruce lives. So me and Bruce live like 2 minutes away.
On the corner
Um,
from each other.
yeah, pretty much.
That's awesome.
We're about 20-30 minutes away from Detroit. So you just hop on the highway and you'll be there in 20 minutes.
Damn. Yeah, you said, dog. You are set. Weren't you from Ohio originally?
No, I was born here.
Why am I so like still trying to figure? I'm still trying to figure it all out, bro. Still trying to figure it all out.
So
Well,
Sam, I have just one last thing, Sam. So I was someone who tried long snapping when I was playing like little league football, and I was always the kid who I would snap it, but it would go straight up in the air instead of back. How would you tell someone to correct that?
If your snap is going up, I would tell them to extend their arms out more and bring your butt down, lower your butt.
Right.
That's something that I need to work on because I'm recovering from shoulder surgery and finding my strength back is definitely different than it was before, and I'm definitely a lot bigger now.
Mhm.
So being stronger, you got to find how to snap the ball more efficiently.
Super interesting.
Great tip. I'm gonna definitely pass that information down to all the kids that I come across. Cool.
Yeah,
Hey,
so
especially
to
looking
get
at
there,
after-school programs. Hey, kids that want to be long snappers when they're in
or
after-school
or
programs.
you could be like Sam and not realize you're super good at it until you try it.
Exactly.
You know,
Facts.
Yeah.
never be afraid to actually try new things, I guess, especially on the field. All right, Sam.
Hey, well, I got one more question real quick before we head out for him. With COVID-19 going on, have you heard any word that Army is gonna continue the season for the fall?
You know, that's still to be determined.
Yeah.
There's a lot of uncertainty. Nobody really knows what's going to
Yeah.
happen 3 months from now. What I have heard from school is that I will be going to school and I will be living on campus.
There you go. All right.
Obviously, I'll have to be tested and on quarantine for 2 weeks, probably when we get up there, maybe. But NCAA just passed something that athletes can be on campus. So I mean that definitely helps. But if there will be a season, I truly think that there will be limited fans or no fans in the stands. I mean, it's just so like football is a contact sport, so you're breathing, tackling, and sweating on everyone, rather than like where baseball you're not touching anyone really.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, no one really knows, I guess.
Yeah. Well, when it does happen, Sam, we do hope you have a very great career. I'm definitely gonna be watching because hey, now I know someone that plays in the Army.
My
Without further ado,
stepdad every year makes me watch the Army versus Navy games, so I'll be watching those for sure. Looking for you.
Yep.
Thank you again for coming on the show. We really appreciate it. Congrats on announcing you're going to Army, and good luck there. Can't wait to see what your career has in store, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on the show.
Thank you, Sam.
We'll be in touch.
For sure. See you guys later.
That's Shienbaum. Woo! Army, long snapper. That was awesome, bro. That was awesome. I feel like I'm ready to go out. Wait, so let me see if I got this correct. Hold on.
Gonna practice your long. Is that what you were doing in the middle of the?
I'm gonna try that real quick. All right. So he said, squat, right? Arms out.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Butt out like that. Arms out.
I think.
Boom. I'm ready. All right. I think I can do it.
Yep.
One training session, I'm ready to go.
My long snapping days are long past my prime.
Hey, what did you think of the interview, man?
It was super informative. I couldn't, it was so amazing hearing from a long snapper himself say that he can vary where the laces land on the snap. Like, do you know how exact of a science that has to be? I'm still kind of like tripping out in my mind over that, like honestly. So like all this time I was thinking Pat McAfee was a fool. Pat McAfee was right.
Dude,
honestly.
Okay, you know what's crazy? When you mentioned that Colts long snapper, the only reason why I know him is because
of Pat. I was about to say it's probably because of Pat.
And then obviously like watching the Colts game and stuff, but like still though I was like, wait, why does that name sound so familiar? Like, hold up, I know that guy already. Just heard that name before.
If Pat McAfee ever watches this, we have one for the brand.
Yes.
It was a great interview, honestly.
Dude, for real. But yeah, bro, that was a good interview. Very informal. We got another great interview.
That was Sam. That was Sam Shienbaum. That's how you say it, right? Shienbaum.
Yeah, Shienbaum. Yeah.
Shienbaum. He's going to Army. He's going to be their long snapper. So